If you are going to try, go all the way. Otherwise, do not even start. This could mean losing girlfriends, wives, relatives, and maybe even your mind. It could mean not eating for 3 or 4 days. It could mean freezing on a park bench. It could mean jail. It could mean derision. It could mean mockery. Isolation is the gift. All the others are a test of your endurance, of how much you really want to do it, and you will do it, despite rejections and the worst odds. And it will be better than anything else you can imagine. If you are going to try, go all the way. Welcome to Kitaabi Cabins. I am Kritika. The lines that you just heard were by an American-German writer, Charles Bukowski. He was born in Germany to a German mother and an American soldier. He was about 3 years old when their family moved to the United States and he grew up in Los Angeles. He wanted to be a writer, but like many of the profound writers in our history, he also faced a lot of rejections. But he kept writing. He wrote a lot of novels, short stories. He started writing poetry at the age of 35 and he did get his work published. Some of the major works of Charles Bukowski include Love is a Dog from Hell, Postman, Women, Pleasures of the Dam, Notes of a Dirty Old Man. In his career days, when he was unable to make his ends meet through his writing, he did a lot of day jobs. He worked in a mill, he worked as a truck driver, as a dishwasher, he worked as a gas station attendant. All of these day jobs gave him a very close perspective towards the downtrodden American society at that time, towards the urban lifestyle. It added to a lot of his experiences and he wrote about them. Back then, he was not much appreciated or welcomed by the society that much. People considered him as a deeply flawed human being. They thought that he was cynical, he was a misogynist. They didn't accept him, but he kept writing. He wrote unapologetically. His poetry remained intimate till the last of his work, and his writing stood the test of the time. Even after decades after his demise, people actually really admire his work. Even if it is cynical, it sounds very satirical. People relate to it because he wrote about the day-to-day sadness or troubles that a person goes through. Over the years, I've read a lot about Bukowski and his work. So I have collected some of his poems or quotes throughout the years. So I just thought that I'll share some of them with you. How the hell could a person enjoy being awakened at 6:30 a.m. by an alarm clock? Leap out of bed, dress, force feed, shit, piss, brush teeth and hair, and fight traffic to get to a place where essentially you made lots of money for somebody else and were asked to be grateful for the opportunity to do so. I have related to this and not related to this. I have woken up at 4:30 a.m. in the morning and have felt gratitude towards life and work. And there have been days when I've had the privilege to wake up at 10:30 a.m. in the morning and still dreaded the days. As far as his writing is concerned, he didn't like the day jobs that much. He goes on to say, I don't like the clean-shaven boy with the necktie and the good job. I like desperate men with broken teeth and broken minds and broken ways. They interest me. They are full of surprises and explosions. And Bukowski lived a pretty wild life himself, some of it by choice and some just a slave to the circumstances maybe. But he was very comfortable with who he was. He liked the way he lived, which I believe is a pretty great achievement to have. I've never been lonely. I have been in a room. I have felt suicidal. I have been depressed. I have felt awful beyond all, but I have never felt that one person could enter that room and cure what was bothering me, or that any number of people could enter that room. In other words, loneliness is something I have never been bothered with, because I have always had this terrible itch for solitude. It's being at a party or a stadium full of people cheering for something that I might feel loneliness. I'll quote Ibsen, the strongest men are the most alone. I have never been bothered with the need to rush out into the night. I hid in bars because I didn't want to hide in factories, that is all. Sorry for all the millions, but I have never been lonely. I like myself. I am the best form of entertainment I have.
Some of his writing feels so impromptu, and when you're out in the day and something happens that you just want to pour your thoughts on without much analysis, a lot of his writing feels like that he just came back and he wrote in his journal. It almost feels unethical to read his work sometimes because I feel like I'm intruding into his personal space. People were usually much better in their letters than in reality. They were much like poets in this way. Well, I think if we replace letters with Instagram stories, this quote still holds true. Nothing is worse than to finish a good shit, then reach over and find the toilet paper container empty. Even the most horrible human being on earth deserves to wipe his ass. I want to live in a world where Bukowski and Twitter existed at the same time. Bukowski would never be a people pleaser, would he? He would give you the hard reality checks. He won't shy away from that. He would be a friend who would be hard to listen to and you would get irritated because they're right all the time. I want to wrap it up with one of my favorite quotes of Bukowski. Do not be dull and boring and pretentious. Do not be consumed with self-love. The libraries of the world have yawned themselves to sleep over your kind.